Okay, fine. So finally, we are going to start the new concept today. That is Terraform. Which one? Let's see what is Terraform and how it is going to work. Okay. So guys, among all the concepts, yeah, good evening, Divya. Among all the concepts, what you're gonna learn in the DevOps, Terraform will be the most advanced among them. Okay. First of all, like what is Terraform? Yep. Please. So before I go and explain what is Terraform, first of all, what is infrastructure? What is infra? Already you know. Infrastructure refer resources that used to run the application on the cloud. Already you know. Like for example, if I want to run application, I need to have EC2 to deploy the application, S3 to store the data, load balance to distribute the traffic, VPC to provide privacy and security, and we have something called as auto scaling group. What do you have? All these will be required to run the application in the cloud. That is what we can call as infra. Already you know. In general, we deploy infrastructure on manual way. Which way? So till now in the AWS, if you learn AWS, what you can do, you can go, you can manually create servers, manually create load balancer, manually create auto scaling group. But tell me, as a DevOps, are we going to work with manual or automation? So definitely manual way of working is not going to be recommended. Why? Because if it is manual, the time is going to be consumed very much, and everything is manual. Third one, we are going to have chances of committing mistakes. So definitely see, if you are doing the same work daily, it will be boring first of all. Second one, it will be time consuming. Third one, if you do one work daily, at least once in a while you do the mistakes. Correct or not, sir? So that is the disadvantage of manual working. So in order to automate the infrastructure, we are going to use Terraform tool, which will do automation with the help of the code. So to automate the infrastructure, which tool we are using? How Terraform will automate the infra by using that is called as HCL code. HCL stands for HashiCorp configuration language. Okay. Just like in Ansible, if you write the playbook, it is going to create servers. It's going to do installation of software. In Terraform also, we can do the same thing. Okay. Now coming to Terraform intro here, it is a tool used to make the infrastructure automation. It's a free and open source tool and it is platform independent. So it comes in the year 2014 and it was developed by Mitchell Hashimoto. Who developed Terraform tool, sir? Mitchell Hashimoto. And it was currently owned by HashiCorp organization. But recently it was acquired by IBM. Recently, like few months ago only. Okay. Terraform was written on the Go programming language. So it is going to be called as IaaS tool. IaaS stands for infra as a code. Again, I'm repeating. Terraform is used to make the infra automation. It's a free and open source tool and platform independent. It comes in the year 2004, given by Mitchell Hashimoto and currently owned by HashiCorp. Which one? HashiCorp. Wait, let me correct this one. HashiCorp. Okay, but recently it is maintaining by which company? Why? Because for 6.4 billion, the HashiCorp has been acquired by IBM recently. So Terraform is written on Go programming language, just like Docker and Kubernetes. And here Terraform can be called as IaaS, which is called as infra as a code tool. And how it will work? Terraform uses the code to automate the infrastructure. Here we are going to use a programming language called HCL. HCL stands for HashiCorp configuration language. Just like we use AML playbook. AML for playbook. Here also we use HCL to write the Terraform config files. So IaaS can be called as infra as a code. That means if we create a code, if we execute the code, that is going to create the infrastructure for me. Okay. Again, if you write the code, after executing the code, then it is going to create the infra. What is the advantages now? See, if you write the code in the file, you know, the file can be reusable, correct or not, sir? We've seen a lot of examples in playbook, in Docker Compass file, in Kubernetes manifest, everything written in the file. That is called as declarative method. Declarative means once if you write anything on the file, that is reusable for n number of times. Second thing, it is time saving. So when if you put on the file, we can reuse and we can save the time. Third one is automation. Fourth one is avoiding the Once if you read the configuration on the file, you won't change the configuration. If you don't change the configuration, why mistakes will happen? It won't happen, right? And finally, dry run. Dry run means without running the configuration file, we can check the expected output. What we can check? Huh? Code. And dry stand for don't repeat yourself. If you don't want to repeat yourself, then we are going to use dry principle. Dry principle means writing everything on the file actually. And I'm getting some throat pain again. Okay, it's completely fine. So again, I'm repeating this one. So advantages of using Terraform is first of all, it is reusable and it is time saving and it is used for automation itself and we can avoid the mistake. And final one, it is gonna be dry run. So is the concept clear for all of you know? So online is the advantages and intro of Terraform clear for all of you? Can you please confirm in chat box once? Fine. So now coming to the alternatives, guys, Terraform will have a lot of alternatives. I'm talking about cloud alternatives. In AWS, we are having CFT. CFT stands for Cloud Formation Template. If you go to AWS console, you type CFT. Oh, CTF. Of course, like anything is fine. Even if you type it wrong way, it will come actual. Okay, it's completely fine. Click on open link in new tab. So if you click on create a stack, automatically this cloud template, like cloud formation, create a infrastructure for me. So for example, here you can go and see use a sample template. Here by default, if I want to deploy LAMP stack, if I select this one and if I click on next, if I provide some name here, okay. So if I click on next, let me show you. If I click on stack name ABCD, DB password, I am giving it as like some random password. Okay. DB root password again. So DB username admin. So click on keepay. If you are having any keepay, select this one, click on next and IAM role. So just if you are having any IAM role, you can go for IAM role. So click on next. If you give this one, automatically what happen? If I click on deploy, submit, automatically it is going to create a infrastructure for me. It is the cloud alternative, but it work for only AWS. Which one? AWS. But if you go to Azure, same thing you can do for ARM templates. ARM stand for Azure Resource Manager. What does ARM stand for? So in AWS, we can automate infra creation by CFT, but in Azure, we can automate by using ARM. But in Google, you can use Google Deploy Engine, GDE. From there also, we can automate the infrastructure creation. Okay. But if I want to create infra on AWS, Azure, GCP, AWS will have separate service that only work for AWS. GCP will have some separate service that work only for GCP. And Google will have some separate service that work only for Google. But what if I want to automate the entire infrastructure in all of these three clouds? In that case, I cannot learn CFT, ARM, GD. If I directly learn Terraform, that is the one-stop solution. Why? Because from the Terraform, you can create infra on AWS, you can create infra on GCP, and you can create infra on Azure. Not only these clouds, you can create a infra on Oracle, DigitalOcean, IBM. There are a hell lot of cloud providers in the market for HashiCorp. Okay. If you want to create infra for any cloud, you can use the Terraform. That's it. Not only for the cloud providers, even if you want to create infrastructure for on premises, for where? So there also you can able to take this one out. So some of the alternative for the infra is gonna be Pulumi is one of the alternative, and it is the latest one actually. Pulumi, and there is something called as OpenTofu, which comes into the market newly. Like a lot of people don't know about this OpenTofu. Let me show you. OpenTofu is a forked version of Terraform actually. Let me show you. OpenTofu. Are you seeing OpenTofu? If I like see this one, OpenTofu is the forked version of Terraform. Previously, Terraform is having the infrastructure tool. Sorry, Terraform is called as infrastructure tool, but the Terraform is free and open source. The OpenTofu has taken the code from Terraform and modified as per their requirements. Why? Because previously Terraform was free and open source, but now it is not free and open source. That is the reason we people are using the OpenTofu, which is free and open source. But if somebody asks is Terraform free and open source, means not. Terraform is licensed version now. It's not free and open source anymore. We have some restrictions. If I go to Google and type, is Terraform open source? See, this is the most asked question in the internet these days. First and foremost, Terraform is no longer adheres to quintessential principles of open source. That means if you talk, it is not open source anymore. But at the time of the previous session, while I'm teaching, it was free and open source, but it is not open source anymore. Is it clear now? That's it. And what is the forked version of Terraform? OpenTofu. Which one? Sir, it is not open source, but still it is free only. If you go and see, Terraform is free to use, but it is not open source. Is the concept clear for all of you know? Previously, Terraform was free and open source, but now Terraform is still free, but it is not open source anymore. Okay, like that. And what is OpenTofu here? OpenTofu is the forked version of Terraform, which is free and open source again. Like that. So now here, you need to understand something. Sir, Pulumi, Ansible, Chef, and Puppet, and OpenTofu. So these will be the alternative for Terraform actually. Okay. But in interview, they're gonna ask among them which tool is better. So ultimately, you can go as Terraform. Why? Because with the help of Ansible, you can do deployment, you can do software installation, and you can do server creation. Now Terraform will do same things. Terraform will do the same things. You need to understand a smallest point called difference between infrastructure creation and infrastructure orchestration. I'll explain. In interview, they are going to ask you, what is the interlinking or what is the difference between Terraform and Ansible? I'll explain the easiest manner for you. Practice this one. It is my Ansible server. It is what is the primary function of Ansible? To do the deployment and to do the software creation. Correct or not, sir? So I'm going to highlight like this. I'm going to highlight them like this. Sir, with the help of Ansible, you are managing the servers. But these servers are going to create by the Terraform. Which one? Terraform will create the servers. Whereas Ansible will do the configuration management and will do the deployment of that server. That is the only difference. Let me maximize this one. Terraform. I'm writing this one. Oh, it's very big. So see, what is the primary function of Terraform? Terraform primary functionality is to create the servers. Okay, this responsibility is to create the servers. But whatever the servers that has been created by the Terraform, but these servers will be managed by using which tool? Ansible tool. So Terraform is called as infrastructure tool. But whereas Ansible, Chef, and Puppet will be called as infrastructure orchestrated tools. Let me write it down very, very clearly. So here, Terraform versus Ansible. Terraform will create servers. And these servers will be managed by, we can't call as managed, these servers will be orchestrated. Or like these servers will be configured by Ansible. So Terraform is called as infrastructure tool and Ansible is called as infrastructure orchestration. Even though if I go to Google and if I ask this one, diff between Terraform and Ansible. You can see Terraform set up and manage the infrastructure using infrastructure as a code. But whereas Ansible use focus on automating the task like provisioning, deployment, like this. Is it clear for all of you now? So that is the thing what we can call as a difference between Terraform and Ansible. And Terraform can be called as infrastructure tool. Difference between infrastructure and infra orchestration tool. So now you can get the differences. If I go to any of the blog, in this blog, let me show you. Or you can go to images. You can see it here very, very clearly. Mm. So this is called as infra as a code tool, and this is called as configuration management tool. If you can go and see Terraform, you are seeing Pulumi, you are seeing Google Deploy Engine, you are seeing ARM templates and CFT. But whereas configuration management tool, Puppet, Chef, SaltStack, and Ansible. So that is the difference between them. Is it clear for all of you know? Difference between Terraform and Ansible. Online, can you please confirm is the difference between Ansible and Terraform clear for all of you or not? Online, is the difference clear for all of you or not? Okay. Online, I'm not getting the expected response. See, like even though I'm having severe throat pain, I'm trying to explain each and every concept multiple times. But you are having no time to response. I don't know like why and what you are feeling exactly. If you don't respond, then what is the point of explaining this many times for you? I can simply explain you only one time, right? Why I need to waste my energy and like why I need to suffer a lot? It's okay. You keep not to respond and I keep go for explain single time for you from now. I'm a co-host here. Like, wait, let me rename myself. Okay. So now next year, Terraform can be used for on-prem infrastructure also. That means with the help of Terraform, not only for cloud actually, you can able to manage the on-prem infrastructure. For example, in on-prem, you have having containers or you are having virtual machines. That is also you can able to manage. While Terraform is also going to be called as cloud agnostic. The meaning of cloud agnostic is nothing, but it is not only supporting for single cloud. It can be supporting for multiple cloud. It can support for public cloud such as AWS, GCP, and Azure, and it can also support for private cloud like Google, like IBM, and we have Oracle, we have Dell. This will be called as private clouds. And apart from that, we can also use it from on-prem infrastructure where we can use VMware, vSphere, OpenStack everywhere. That means Terraform is one solution for all the infra. It can be public cloud infra, it can be private cloud infra, or it can be on-prem infra also. That's it. So now let's go and see like how to work with a Terraform itself. So first of all, you need to install Terraform actually. So to install Terraform, first of all, we need to have a server here. So let me go and launch an EC2 instance. Click on launch. And here again, Terraform is a third party tool. So third party tool want to create a resource on my AWS cloud. What I want to create, what I want to give now. Third party tool Terraform want to work on my AWS resources. It want to interact with my resources. It want to create my resource. What I want to create now. Permissions. Which concept I can use for permissions? How can I give permissions? By using IAM. Which concept? IAM. Correct. I'm taking T2 micro. By the end of the Terraform tool, I can guarantee you one thing. Even though if you want to write certification, with this knowledge, you can go and write certification. There will be 57 questions for Terraform. Certification cost will be $70, which is very, very cheap among all certifications. 70, it's very cheap. And the pass percentage will be 70% for Terraform. Very like you can get it very easily. Mm. Okay, I'm building a big empire here, right? Fine. Even like you don't believe, a lot of community builders interact with me actually. And if they want something, they will take from my knowledge perceptions. Chart is by default is coming to Naresh IT. It's not visible. That is the reason like I renamed myself Anirudh. Now I'll go for Terraform. Click on Amazon next to T2 micro and keep here Ansible keep here. EC2 instance. And one more thing, if you want to install Terraform in the advanced details, are you seeing the user data here? I think you know this one, right? If you run any kind of script, it will run here. So for installed in Terraform, go here and type Terraform install or Terraform download. Anything is fine. Click on the very first link. Already have the script in the GitHub. You can take it from there. From here also, I'm showing you. So I'm installing it on which operating system? Linux. In Linux, you are having a lot of things. I'm going for Amazon Linux. Are you able to see these three comments? You can copy paste these three comments. Okay. So here you can go in the Amazon Linux. You can see three comments. Just copy them. Just paste it here. So this will run my script automatically when my EC2 instance got launched. But before that, you need to give hash exclamatory slash bin slash bash. But before that, you need to understand one thing. So by default, if I want to interact with Terraform, I need to give permissions. So permission I can give from access key, secret key, or I can give from role. Which one is safer method? IAM role. Why? Because in IAM, access key and secret key, if you give to server, other people can able to see it. But role will not have any credential. It is the safest method now. Now, how to give the role? Go and create a role first of all. I'm showing you two different ways. Initially, I taught you how to give access keys, but now I'm showing you how to give it the roles actually. Click on roles. So I'm going to create a role for AWS service that is for my EC2. Next, I'm giving admin access. Okay. Next, role name will be Terraform role. Now this role is having the admin access and the same role you are going to attach to your EC2 instance. How can you attach a role? Go to the instance. Click on the instance setting. Sorry, actions. Go for instance setting. Sorry, security. Go for modify IAM role. Terraform role. That's it. So now simply take your instance, connect to it, and start using Terraform. No installation required, no configuration required. But if you wish to do another way, here after creating the server, run these commands as it is and give access key and secret key. It is one other way you can do. Stop Nike. Nike. Mm. Mm. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. So currently you are having EC2 instance with Terraform already installed. And one more thing, this Terraform you can download to your local machine also. That's completely fine. So now I want to check, do I have permission or not? See, if you want to check whether your IAM role is giving permission or not, just to give any AWS CLI command. If that CLI command is working, then my role is working. Give the command AWS S3 LS. Is it working? That means you have the permission for your EC2 instance. Okay, fine. So now create a separate folder for Terraform, mkdir, Terraform, cd, Terraform. Now in Terraform, whatever the code you are going to write, you are going to write on the configuration files. Where you are going to write on configuration files. So config that is called as a Terraform configuration file. Terraform configuration file extension is .tf. If you are seeing something with .tf, then that is called as Terraform configuration files. So I'm gonna give am main.tf. So here mention that first of all, Terraform configuration file we have blocks itself. What do we have? The first major block for the configuration is gonna be provider block. Currently want to create resource on which provider? AWS cloud provider. And you want to create infra on which region? US East one. Where I want to create? East one. It is the first block you need to understand. Provider is AWS and you are creating resource on which region? US East. So now if you go and see here, just try to understand one thing. I'm going to explain the syntax of the complete Terraform. This is what we can call as block. What do we call as? A Terraform configuration file will have n number of blocks. It can be one block, it can be two, it can be three, or it can be n. Whatever the starting range you are going to see, it is called as block. In the block, you are seeing double quotes, right? This can be called as label. What do we call as? For a single block, you can have 0 labels, you can 1 label, you can have 2 labels, and you can have 3 like this. Okay. A Terraform configuration file must have block, but label is optional. A block can have 0 label, 1 label, 2 labels, and so on. Coming to whatever you write here in this braces, this can be called as argument. What do we call as? Arguments can be called as input for the block. Argument can be called as. So this is the syntax actually. Again, I'm telling you, provider is the block, AWS is the label of the block. Okay. Without 0 blocks, we cannot create the configuration file. At least we need to have 1 block. And for the block, labels can be optional. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And inside the codes, like inside the braces, you are going to write the arguments. Arguments are nothing but input for the block. Argument need to have key and a value. Is it clear for you? That's it. Now let's write here one more block called resource block. Which block? So it is again the block. For resource block, I'm going to have the label called AWS instance. Okay, with block name 1. So I'll explain this one. Now here, the second block is going to be resource block. Which block? First block is called as for provider, how many labels you are having? But for resource, 2. Like that. And here underscore can be called as identifier. What do we call as? Sir, in Terraform, where you are going to use identifiers. If you want to combine 2 words, you are going to use identifier. See, in Terraform, if you give space, that is not going to be considered. So if you are having 2 words, if you want to combine the 2 words, definitely you are going to give underscore. So the underscore can be called as here identifier. In the resource block, now I'm going to write here like this. I'm going to write some input. So what is the first step to create the server? First of all, which step we give? Let me show you parallelly. If you go ahead and see, sir, if I wish to create a server, if I click on launch instance, see, for to create the server, there are some mandatory fields and there are some optional fields. You know this one. What is the first field here? Name. Is it mandatory or optional? Optional. So we can ignore. That means even though if we don't give name, it is completely fine. What is the step number 2? AMI. So write this one now. AMI is mandatory or not, sir? So AMI, just give any of the AMI. Now from the Terraform, I want to create EC2 instance with Amazon Linux 2023. So in that case, you need to copy the ID. How can you get ID? You can go to AMI catalog. In the AMI catalog, take any one of the AMI ID. Are you seeing the Amazon Linux 2 here? You can take any of the AMI. Copy this. Give it here. Next, what is the next step here? After AMI, next step will be instance type, mandatory or optional? Mandatory. So instance type is equal to I want to give T2 micro. What I want to give? T2. But see here, if you are having two words, you need to combine with the underscore. That is called as identifier. Clear? That's it. Similarly, what is the next step here? Is keeper mandatory or without keeper also we can launch the instance? Without keeper, can we launch instance or not? Yes. So that is optional. Next, network settings. Sir, by default, if I don't give VPC and security group, default VPC and default security group will come or not, sir? Mandatory or optional? Why? Because if you don't give, that will come with the default. EBS, what is the default value? That means if you don't give the value here, automatically my default will come. That's it. This is the code for your EC2. That is the code for EC2. Sir, here you are giving AMI and instance, but whatever the rest of the things, where is the name? If you don't give name, your server will create. What about the keeper? If you don't give keeper, your server will create. What about the VPC and security groups? By default, VPC and by default security group will come. And what is the EBS volume? By default, EBS volume will come. Terraform is very, very, very intelligent tool. Whatever the options you have taken, you have given, that values will be taken by Terraform. But if you don't give any input, Terraform by default apply the default values itself. Is the point clear for all of you? Just you count. I'll explain in the next concept. Okay. Online is writing the Terraform configuration. Clear for all of you? Can you please confirm? Trust me, Terraform is going to be very, very easy. Okay. Clear. So now we are good to go. Just to save this one. So once you write a Terraform configuration file, here already have given what is the block, what is the label, and what is the argument we explained here. Configuration file is nothing but it will have the resource configuration. Here we write the input of the resource. Based upon the input, Terraform will create the real world resource, and the extension is going to be .tf. I create the folder, I go inside the folder. Now here this is the basic code what I have written here. Okay. So now Terraform will need some commands to execute the infrastructure. There are four major commands for Terraform lifecycle. First one will be Terraform init. Which one? Second one will be Terraform plan. Third one will be Terraform apply, and fourth one will be Terraform. We'll understand this on a easiest way. So now, what is the first command in Terraform lifecycle? Init. Init stand for initializing the provider plugin. Currently, I'm using which provider here? AWS. So guys, here if I give ls-al or ll-al, how many files I'm having? No, this is not a file. .NET, these are not file. Okay, this is only one file. Give the command Terraform init. This init command will download the AWS provider plugins. Why? Because if I want to create AWS resource, I need to have the plugins. What Terraform need to have? Plugin. If Terraform want to create AWS EC2, it need to download the AWS provider plugin. Otherwise, without the plugins, Terraform will not be able to create the resource. Hit enter. Is it downloading the provider plugins? Yeah. Just like Git init, here we need Terraform init. Otherwise, the provider plugins will not come. If plugins will not come, we cannot create infrastructure. Now, if I give ll-al, are you seeing .terraform? .terraform is the folder where you can see all the providers information. If I give ll.terraform, you can see a very big length here. Are you seeing providers? Go for providers. Are you seeing these providers will come from registry.terraform.io. It's on internet actually. Go here. Are you seeing HashiCorp? Next, are you seeing AWS here? Are you seeing version 5.5.0? Are you seeing Linux here? I'm just showing you. Are you seeing the provider plugins here? That's it. So without these provider plugins, our Terraform will not create the resource on AWS. Currently, I'm creating AWS resource. So I download the AWS provider plugin. If I want to create the Azure VM, I need to download the Azure provider plugins. If I want to download a GCP instance creation, I need to download the GCP provider plugins like that. And all the provider information is going to store in which folder? It is one of the important question for interview as well as certification exam also. So remember, what is the first command? Terraform. It initializes the provider plugin on the backend, and the plugins will be storing on to Terraform. And without plugins, our provider will not create the resource. I'm writing here. Without plugins, we can't create resources. And this plugin will change for each provider. Okay. Each provider will have its own plugins. Of course, there is a separate section and separate class for these providers. I'll explain there. Okay. But for as of now, remember to create resource, you need to have the provider plugins. That is going to store on which folder? .terraform. Okay. Without plugins, can we able to create resource? No. And each provider will have its own plugins. Correct. So the Terraform init clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm this Terraform init clear for all of you or not? Clear. Fine. So next year Terraform plan. Terraform plan means it is to create the execution plan. It will take user input. It will take input given by the user and plan the resource. Currently, I am a user. I am giving input on this file. Whatever the input I have given in this file, Terraform will create an execution plan. I have given AMI and instance type. So Terraform will take AMI and instance type. But have I given Terraform like security groups and VPC? No. Whatever the input I have given in this file, Terraform will take the input. If input haven't given, so it is going to apply the default values. Here, if we haven't given input for few fields, it will take the, that's it. So now go and give the command Terraform plan. Now it is going to create the execution plan. It is going to tell that, okay, now I'm going to create AWS instance with the label name 1. For that instance, AMI, so and so AMI, and instance type is T2, micro you can see. But coming to the subnet ID, coming to the tags, coming to tenancy, these will know after apply. That means user is not providing these values. But if you want this value, give Terraform apply. That's it. Terraform init will initialize the provider plugins. Okay. Terraform plan will create the execution plan. Whatever the data I have given in the configuration file, that is going to read by Terraform and create the resource plan. Actually, it won't create resource, only execution plan. Now, if you want to create the resource, then here I am going to use the command called Terraform. This is to create the resource. As per the given input on the configuration file, it will create resource in the real world. Go ahead and give the command Terraform apply. Now it is going to give me the prompt. Do you want to create? Just to give yes. Of course, we can give this a prompt awaiting in the later section. I'll show you. Currently, is your instance creating now? This is going to create on your AWS account. If I go and go to my instances, I'm going to filter the running status. Are you seeing the services like creating now? Wait for it. It is not yet running. Wait for running status. So by default, it will take 30 seconds actually. 30 to 40 in a least case. Now, how much time it took, sir? Now, if you go and see, if I click on refresh, automatically, like I'm gonna get this one. Are you able to see it or not? So, in this way, what is happening, I'm gonna create the resource itself. Okay, with the help of Terraform. Now, if I don't want, what I can do, I can be able to delete. How to delete means instead of apply, give Terraform destroy. If you go Terraform destroy, automatically the instance is gonna be delete. But again, for creating and deleting, you need to give the prompt yes. Go ahead and check. I'm gonna give yes. But before I give yes, I'm gonna stop this one. Why? Because I want to show you a file called state file. Which file? Whenever if you create your EC2 instance or like any resource from Terraform, Terraform will put the complete information of resource in the state file. Currently, are you seeing the server here? This complete server information will be coming to the state file. If I open the command cat terraform.tf state, it is very, very important. Okay. Are you seeing the complete information about the server here, what we created? What is server IP address? 172.31.41.141. Let's go and verify. 172.31.41.14. So whatever the resource you create from Terraform, all the resource info is going to manage on the state file. Where it is going to manage on. So in real time, we are going to make it very, very safe and secure. Basically, I'm going to tell one personal thing for you. Tomorrow, I'm going to give support for one of the person for the state file actually. Like he put some fake experience. Now he is wanting some support. So I'm going to provide the support in the Terraform itself. The only thing is he don't know how to manage the state file. So tomorrow I need to go and I need to import the resource to the state file itself. Now you can understand what is the importance of state file actually. Okay. Fine. So now if I delete the resource by using Terraform destroy, now automatically the server is gonna be delete. Okay, but before that, I want to tell you two things. What is the difference between current state and desired state? Current state means what is running. This current state. Desired state means what you write in the configuration file. In interview, if they ask you what is current state versus desired state, current state means what you write in configuration file. Desired state is nothing but what it is running exactly. Okay. Terraform destroy. Now it is going to ask me the prompt. Give yes. By index values. That is the next concept actually. Wait for some time. Okay, I'll explain that concept. Is the server got created now? Yes, and it is even deleted also. Now if you go and see, if I click on refresh, it is not going to be running. Is it removed now? That's it. So likewise, we can create the resource from Terraform and we can delete the resource from Terraform. Sir, if you create the resource, Terraform will store the information on which file? State file. Which file? State file. Now if I delete the resource, will the information will be on state file means no. If you go and check the state file, now state file will not show me the information. Are you seeing information of that server anymore? If you create, information will come to state file. If you delete, information will not be on state file. So please make sure this point. So Terraform destroy is to delete the resources. So these will be the four basic commands. Tell me, what is the first command? Terraform init. Second command Terraform plan. Third one apply, and fourth one destroy. Are these four commands clear for all of you? Know? Online, can you please confirm? Are the four commands clear for all of you or not? I'll explain what is the difference between them. Don't worry. So now here, if you want to remember these commands in an easiest way, I'm going to tell one shortcut. I think all of you know iPad, right? iPad, you know. iPad is a shortcut for Terraform. I for init, P for plan, A for apply, and D for. So this is a shortcut for the Terraform itself. If you go and say I have given this one, I for init, P for plan, A for apply, and D for. So the shortcut for Terraform commands are nothing but iPad. Which one? I for init, P for A for apply, D for. A shortcut clear for you know? That's it. Fine. So now similarly, here you are creating one server, but I want to create 5 servers. What you can do is nothing but go to the configuration file, put the value count is equal to 5. What do you want to put? Count is equal to. Now you can create 5 servers with the same configuration. Yes, count is it's a what we can call as argument. You are writing inside the block, right? Whatever you write inside the block, that is called as argument actually. Okay. Hit enter. Now again, what is the commands? First command is Terraform init. Remember, Terraform init you do only one time. Already have the plugins now. You don't need plugins anymore. What is the next command? Terraform. Terraform plan will create the resource execution plan. Which one? Now, how many you are creating now? 5. Are you changing anything? No. Are you deleting anything? No. Give Terraform, apply. But when you Terraform apply, is it going to ask you prompt or not, sir? If you want to escape that prompt, give -- auto approve. What you can give? This auto approve is nothing but without asking the prompt, it is going to create 5 servers now. Now these 5 servers will be creating simultaneously, not one by one, all at a time. Are you seeing? Are this creating all at a time? If it's different configuration, we can use variables, Paninath. Don't worry it as of now. Okay. We are going to step by step execution for it. Now you can go and see in your console. If I click on refresh, how many new servers are running? How many new servers? 5. All of them come with same configuration. But if you want different configuration, we can use a concept called variables, which is in the upcoming session for you. Fine. So now here, now I created 5 servers. And this 5 servers information is going to maintain on which file? State file. Which file? Remember, state file will maintain the resource information. Whatever you create from the Terraform, every resource information will be storing on the, here I have given, okay. We go and see. State file. What is state file? It is easy to store the resource information which is created by Terraform. Why we are using state file means to track the resource activities. With the help of Terraform state file only, you can track the resource. If you don't have the state file, you cannot track the resource. In real time, entire resource information is on state file. So we need to keep it safe and secure. If we lost the file, we cannot track the very big. I already said, right? Tomorrow I'm going to give the support. Support is on state file only. That people created the infra on manually. Now they want to migrate to Terraform. So in that case, state file is the option what we're going to use. Okay. That's it. So now if you go and see, I'll give the command cat terraform.tf state. Are you seeing the 5 servers info or not, sir? Are you seeing it or not? Now you can see the complete 5 servers info. There is a command called terraform state list. This command will show me how many number of resources you are managing from Terraform state file. If I give this command, how many resources you are getting now? That means from the Terraform, you created the AWS instance with label name 1. But how many servers you created? 5. So to make it separately, I am giving the index number. When you create similar resources with same configuration, okay, when you create different like a multiple resource with same configuration, that is going to separate by index number, like that. I'll tell you how the state file is going to help us. For example, in this case, how many servers you are seeing it lively? 5. Sir, I want to delete one server. So in that case, if I give Terraform destroy, every server will be destroyed, but I want to remove only one server. In that case, you can use target option. Which option? What is the command to destroy the server? Terraform destroy, need to give -- auto approve. That is going to delete server. But if I run this one, all the servers are going to be removed. But I want to remove only one server. So put target. What I can put here? Target. I want to remove which server? I want to remove AWS instance. So server number 1 means index number. Now the first server, what exactly you are seeing, it is going to be removed here. Hit enter. Now you can go and see The moment if I click on refresh, that is going to be removed. Are you seeing status check gone? If I click on refresh one more time, that is not going to be visible now. How many you are seeing now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it removing the one server or not, sir? So target option is exclusively used to delete any specific resource from the entire infrastructure. Okay. To delete all, Terraform destroy auto approve, but to delete only one server, Terraform destroy with target option enabled. Auto approve will not ask you prompt. If you don't use auto approve, then it is going to ask prompt. If you don't give auto approve, it is going to ask you prompt, man. I'll show you it. Yeah. So if you go and see Terraform state list means it is going to show the list of resource that is managing by Terraform. Of course, there is a state file separate class for you, but as of now, this command is enough. So now Terraform target command is used to destroy the specific resource. If I give Terraform state list to delete a single target, Terraform destroy, auto approve, and give the target. Sir, similarly, now I want to destroy two more objects. Server number 3 and server number 4. What are the index values? So I want to delete server number 2 and 3. Server number 2 means index number 1. Server number 3 means index number 2. Just go ahead and check. Terraform destroy target. I want to delete AWS instance or like, but let me give Terraform state list. Okay, if you get state list, like this command will come. I haven't given it here. Let me get state list first. Okay, I'll get these 4 servers only now. Are you getting 4 only now? So Terraform destroy -FN auto approve. Now I want delete server number 2 means index number 1. Same, put again -target. Is equal to I want delete server number 3. 3 index number will be 2. So now only these resources are gonna delete. Why? Because I'm using target option. Target is to delete specific resource itself. Are you seeing 2 only deleting now? Now if I go and see, these are 2 servers, 2 and 3 will not be visible anymore. Both gone or not, sir? Like that. Now again, I want to delete all of the servers. In that case, do you need to use target now? No need. So target is to delete any specific resource only. Is it gone now? So clear. Now if I give Terraform state list, now how many servers I can able to see here? 2, right? Now I want to delete all of them. So in that case, just give Terraform destroy auto approve. That's it. Now it is going to remove the complete servers. Yeah, I need to convey this to online also. Let me cover one more small topic so I can stop it off. Because continuously taking the class like my throat is. Yeah. I'll cover one small topic variable and I can stop it off for today. Yeah. Getting some slight headache also today. I don't know why. Basically, I can leave you early, but management I need to answer for them. Why you left early? So yeah. Gone now. So you can give Terraform state list. Are you able to see now? There is nothing left in my state file. That's it. So in this case, like the state file is gonna track the resource. When you create resource, information will be on state file. If you delete, the information is also gonna remove from state file. That's it. So now the next concept will be variables concept. Which one? Why we use variable? When a value is changing frequently, we are going to use a variable. All of you know this one. But in Terraform, there are hell lot of variables. Environment variables, CLI variables, variable files, variable TFVars, variable auto TFVars, hard coding variables. I'll explain each and every variable. But for basic, today I'm going to tell you variable files. Which one? So go and see vam main.tf. For example, what is the value of count? 5. This value might change on future. So I'm going to put here var. Var stand for variable. Okay. And again, what is AMI currently? It is Amazon Linux, but in future I can take it as Ubuntu. So again, the value is changing. So I need to put as var. And here instance type. Currently it is T2 micro, but in future it can change to T2 medium, T2 large. So I can put here var. Whenever if the value is changing, we need to take it as variable. In Terraform, the variable is going to define as var itself. So now see, this is the block actually. So now see how many variables are there here? 3. So create 3 variable blocks. How many blocks you want to create? Variable block number 1. I'm going to explain the content later. Next variable block number 2. And a variable block number 3. Why? Because I have 3 variables, right? So guys, for variable, you need to give the name actually. So first name of the variable is going to be count. What is the first variable? Or you can put instance count also. Anything is fine. For a second variable, the name will be AMI ID. Second variable name is, or you can take instance AMI. Instance. This name is up to user defined. Third one is instance type. So I can give instance type. Okay. So instance. Again, I'm telling you here. So whenever the value is keep changing, we need to take it as variable. In Terraform, the variable can be defined on var. This indicate the variable, and this is the name of the variable. What is the first variable name? Second variable name? Third variable name? Instance type. So you have 3 variables. So you need to define 3 variable blocks. Are you seeing 3 variable blocks? Yes. Now tell me, what is the first variable block here? Instance count. So for the first variable section, you need to give the name as instance count. Okay. So just to give the description. Description is optional. No need to give. Description means like why you are using this block. It is completely optional. Type of the variable. Type of the variable. Sir, I am giving value 5. 5 means number or not, sir? Just add here number. Default will indicate the value. Default I am giving 5. So in this variable section, description, type both are optional. Even though if we don't give, that is completely fine. But default will be mandatory. Okay. Again, so now for second variable block, what is the name of the second variable? Instance AMI. Now tell me the syntax for it. So in the variable section, I write here instance AMI. After that, I need to write first inside variable block. What you need to write here? It is optional. Next type. So AMI ID is type of string type. Which type? String. 5 is equal to number, but AMI ID is string type. So just to give here, what is the value I need to give? Default. Default is equal to, just to give the AMI ID. Any AMI ID is fine. Already I have the AMI ID. I can take it from here and I can give it here. Now again for third block, tell me the value. First of all, enter it here. Description type is equal to string and default value is going to be, what is the default value of instance type? T2 micro. And of course, I need to give the name of the variable block. What is the name of the variable block here? Instance type. Here, whatever the name you have defined, same name you need to define here, or otherwise you are going to get the mistake. That's it. But again, I'm telling you, for the variable block, the description and type is not going to be mandatory. Even though if I remove and execute, it will work. For your simplicity, I am removing it now, but in the notes I have given. Okay, you can practice it. In the notes, are you seeing it now? Okay, but for your simplicity, I have removed it. So now, just to go ahead and see. Now, Terraform will think like this. Terraform will think like this. Whenever it come to the resource block, count. It come to know, okay, count is defined on variable block. It is gonna check the variable block. In our file, how many variable blocks are there? 3. 1, 2, 3. First of all, it will go to the variable blocks. It can find 3 variable blocks. But after seeing the name, instance count, that means it go to only this block. What is the value there? This will come to here. Now, second, AMI is also variable. It can go for the 3 blocks, but it is going to match the AMI ID. So that means it will come to this block. Whatever the value you are seeing, that is going to come to AMI. Similarly, instance type is again on variable section. What is the name of the variable? Instance type. It will come to here. It will take the default value. Like this, the values are going to be allocated for the Terraform itself. Let me go and show. Give the command Terraform. Directly give apply. No need of plan. Terraform apply -- auto approve. If you skip plan, if you give apply, that is completely all right. Now Terraform will create 5 servers with T2 micro and with the same AWS Linux AMI. That we take it outside in the next part. Okay. Yeah, we can give it. Drink hot water and eat better live for throatly fine. Basically, daily I drink hot water at morning 4:30 only. I used to wake up at 4:30 daily. Hmm? No, it's normal water. I don't drink cold water here. It's normal water. So now if I go and see here, currently how many resources are there here? 5 servers with T2 micro and with same AIM ID or not, sir? You can go and check the AIM IDs in the drop down like that. So this is the way how you can do. Now I'm going to delete this one. Terraform instead of apply, I'm going to put here destroy. The only thing you need to understand is here, guys. By default, here I defined variable inside the main file and variable block also inside the main file. But in real time, all the variable block you are going to place in the file called variable.tf. Which file? It is the first variable actually. I am telling it here, Terraform variables. In real time, we keep all the variables in the file called variable.tf to maintain the variables easily. Currently, the above code, I'm going to give on main.tf. Where is the above code? But from the code here, I'm going to give it on variable.tf. So in real time, if you give variables and the main code inside the same file, it will be very difficult for you to manage. So definitely you are going to separate the variables in the variable.tf and main code in the main.tf itself. Let me show you how it will work. Yes. Now go ahead and see. Now go to main.tf. I'm going to copy the code here. I'm going to copy the code and I'm going to remove this code from the main.tf. Now in the main.tf, do you have variable block here? VIM variable.tf. Now where I have given the variable on a separate file. Now here how many TF files I'm having? Main.tf file and by default your main.tf file will refer variable from variable.tf file. You need not to mention any kind of connection. Just to go and give Terraform apply. Automatically it will work now. Huh? Terraform will internally call APIs. We do not need to mention. Terraform will check it internally. Where is the variables located? Yeah. So funny, among fry, we need to create 2 as T2 medium. You can do it on the concept of loops, funny. You need to wait for some other classes for it. Don't worry it as of now. Yeah, it is day one now. You'll be having a lot of excitement, but you need to wait. Okay. Why? Because directly I can't jump to the main concept without teaching you basics. So now if you go and see, still are you able to see 5 servers here? No. Are you able to see 5 or not? So if I go and give the command Terraform state list, in Terraform state list also, I can be able to see 5 servers running. So this is the standard way. In real time, your main code will be on main.tf and your variable code will be on variable.tf. But Terraform will automatically refer the values from main.tf to variable.tf. We need not to provide any kind of connection. Terraform will internally take care of it. So don't worry it deeply. That's it. And now currently if you go and see cat main.tf, cat variable.tf. So this is not on a syntax format. If I give the command Terraform fmt, after giving fmt, now check the main.tf and variable.tf. Previously, this was the main.tf code. Previously, this is the main.tf code. But is the main.tf code aligned properly or not, sir? And cat variable.tf. So it was the current variable.tf code and it was the previously variable.tf code. By default, if you write the configuration file, this syntax is very difficult to give. We cannot align them in an order way. But after writing the code, if I give the command Terraform fmt, this fmt command will give the alignment and indentation for the Terraform files actually. Yeah, fmt will give it automatically, even though if you don't give it. So that's it about today's session. So in today's session, we have seen the concept of Terraform intro, installation, and how to create the resource, and Terraform lifecycle, and Terraform state and variable. That's it. So now before we go for doubts and queries, first of all, how is the day one of Terraform for all of you? Is it interesting for all of you? Online, how's the day one of Terraform for all of you guys? Can you please confirm in chat box? Yeah, like I agree that one. I definitely agree. I think you gone to that workshop at that day, right? Some other workshop. Uh, you have seen Terraform there and here. Like, what is the difference from there to here? That is the first day for you, and this is also first day for you, right? Yeah. Like, it all depends upon the passion, how much passionate you are. Skill and second one is passion also. Why? Because see, like, if I'm getting this much of throat pain, but still I'm continuing the class. If it is some other, definitely they'll take a rest. So, like, my major intention is to give you more knowledge. That's it. Uh, hmm? Uh, that we will discuss on other day. Okay, because today I cannot able to speak one more word also. You can see my complete tone got changed actually, but still somehow like I'm managing it. Yeah, completely exhausted, I can say. His tone got changed completely. First of all, that was the major concern. Yeah, don't worry. I can promise you one thing. If you learn Terraform from me, in future you need not to learn Terraform from any tutorials. The amount of knowledge, the amount of depth that I'm going to teach you, more than enough to go and work in real time. Okay. And if I get a chance, I'll bring that support the laptop to here to show the content for you. If I get a chance, I'm not promising you, but I'll ask him why, because it is his own laptop. So it is his career. Na? So I cannot force, but if I get a chance, I'll show you the real time work. That's it. So online. So if you are having any queries, please drop it as soon as possible for today. And lastly, let me terminate them. So if I don't terminate, it is gonna like run forever. I'm destroying. Wish to cure your throat pain very quickly. Yeah, even I'm hoping so. Thank you, Divya. So notes I have given to your Google Classroom. You can take it and you can practice. So online, still any more queries before I end the session for today? Okay then. So let's meet on tomorrow's session with some new topic. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you everyone. Thank you all. Thank you.